Alright, good morning, y'all. Resistance. Inner resistance. Another thing that I think is just so ingrained in us that we're barely aware of it when it's happening. Because it's just always happening. Resistance, what is that? Okay, we all know what it means, especially on that physical plane. Get in someone attacks you and you resist. You fight back, or you defend yourself. Resistance. But inside, what does that mean? Resisting what? We hear sometimes, or a lot, spiritual stuff. Non-resistance. Sometimes you can just call it acceptance, I guess, which is the opposite, maybe. If you accept something, you're not resisting it. But what are we resisting the whole time? Things that happen. Things that happened is probably even more important. I know it has been for me. Resisting stuff that has already happened, which you gotta admit sounds dumb. Because it's there, it happened, right? So what are you doing? Resisting it. Makes no sense. But we're always doing it. I'm always doing it. Many examples. I would call that large scale internal resistance to how my past went. Man, I wish that I had grown up in different circumstances. I wish I would have had both my parents, the whole time I was growing up. I wish I wouldn't have had a brain tumor when I was younger. Wouldn't that be nice? Then I could still hear in both ears. I would be able to move my face correctly. Wouldn't that be great? I wish... la la la. You see where I'm going with this? You can go on and on. Literally, forever. Because it's just up here. Okay? Let me think of these alternate realities that could have happened and that could be. And let me do that in a really negative way, basically. I'm not thinking of... It's not creating positive feeling in me. Let's just put it that way. It's the opposite of being grateful for the way that things unfolded, which would fill me with some kind of positive feeling. It's the opposite of that. It's resisting what happened. How do you do that? Yeah, you can complain. Internally, you can complain. I am a master complainer. Even still. I was a super master complainer 10 years ago. But I complain. Mostly internally now. But what do you do when it's so bad, that you really have to resist? You feel you can't you're not just complaining, that actually comes out. The problem is that it doesn't change. The past is what happened. It's reality. So it is a harsh thing. It's always there. And it doesn't change. So what do? We pretend something else. Or we get amnesia. We forget it. We try to remember it, or we remember it in a different way. I mean, we are capable of all these things. But I would say the most in my family, the way I learned to deal with it, with things that I wanted to resist, was to get rid of them. Cut it out of my narrative, of my life. Biggest example, very, very young, my dad left us, our family. Okay, that's the narrative that was told to me back then. And then I didn't have a dad anymore. He was there. And our strategy as a now slightly smaller family was to villainize him and then cut him out of our lives. Boom. And that happened over years. This was absolutely, I think, taught to me because I, as a young child, 6 years old, that's not, it could be your strategy, but you could be taught a different strategy where you go through your feelings, the natural feelings. This would be a more accepting approach. Go through your natural feelings, talk about things, go through different stages of like grief and loss and la la la. We didn't do that. We resisted that had happened, and learned to forget, because it's painful to remember memories, nice times, bad times. Learned to then, as we got older, distract. And I mean, let's face it, one big strategy for this, to achieve this, to get rid of the pain of all this, is to take some drugs. You could take some drugs, or you can have other things be your drugs. These days, very easy to find. Even entertainment, anything. Video games. That was me, for sure. Anything to resist the reality that is freaking hard. And I mean, that's why it's so understandable, all this stuff, obviously. And you can't blame us for doing this, because it is painful. It hurts when something happens that, is caused by a bunch of stuff, and results in pain for you, suffering. Not having a dad, huge suffering for a 6-year-old. Obviously. Missing my dad, not knowing what the heck even happened, like all this. How can you not want to run from that, unless you're guided through by someone who knows what they're doing? You're gonna run from it. So that's resistance on a bigger level. But man, we do it all the time with the smallest things. Relates to judgment, I think, for sure. Because if you're not, the things you're resisting, you're for sure judging as negative, kind of first, right? I mean, you're not going to resist something that you judge as good, well, you could, that you somehow judge as something that you don't want. Deep down somewhere. You can resist good things because deep down, I don't know, they make you uncomfortable or whatever. So even the good, seemingly good thing can be judged as like not acceptable or not good internally or whatever. So we can self-sabotage ourselves like that, but the resistance constantly, it happens all the time. With a million little things that get me like worked up because I think they shouldn't be freaking happening. Which is also ridiculous. It's like, basically, like, who am I? Who am I to say, like, oh, my partner shouldn't be doing XYZ right now? I mean, in my day-to-day, I'm sure I'll talk some more about it. My day-to-day, she's the target of this, like, this complaining, this, like, resistance. So often. And, like, who am I? Who am I? It's funny that we try to control, basically, reality to such an extent. So it's both ridiculous and very understandable if you really look at it. You can feel for someone who is in deep resistance, because you know what it's like. Because we've all done it. And most of us, for sure, continue to do it daily. Every minute. Big, small. Yeah. I think that's it for now. I did my 10 minutes. I'm wishing you a nice day. Till next time.